Thank you to that choir. Wow. Only took you 1 hour to rehearse that? Whew. Well, my name is Jack Gady, and I'm the ministerial intern here at All Souls Unitarian Universalist. It's my pleasure to welcome you tonight to the MORE2 annual public meeting. It's quite an honor to host these events for an organization like MORE2, which is such a powerful, collaborative organization. So I want to invite us tonight into an exercise of imagination. So, as you are comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes for just one moment. I'm going to ask you in just one moment to picture an image or a word based on something that I say. But let's take a breath together first. The word is home. What images come to you? What words? I want to take a moment to just have a few shout-outs. Anybody want to share? Cats. Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes. Home sweet home. Family. Comfy. The reason we're here tonight is that not everyone in the city can say the phrase, "There's no place like home." What would it look like for our city to be a place where every citizen can say that? That's the question, one of the questions we're asking tonight, and I'm so glad you're here. And now it's my pleasure to turn over the mic to tonight's MCs, the Reverend Dr. Love and the Reverend Dr. Jones.
If you'd be so kind to bow your heads with us, we certainly want to open up tonight with a wonderful welcome that we have from the host pastor here. But let us call upon the name of our Creator. Would you bow your heads with us? Dear Lord, our God, we come tonight to honor you tonight. We come tonight to praise you tonight. We worship you tonight. We worship you in thought, we worship you in song and prayer, and we're grateful for those who have come out. And we ask for your guidance, and we're going to put our faith in action as we celebrate you tonight through the things that you've allowed us to work together. We praise you, and we honor you as the creator of all things. These things and much more we ask. In your precious name we pray. And all of God's children said, amen. Amen. I am the Reverend Bobby Love. As been stated, I am the co-chair of MORE2 for Kansas, and I'll be acting as one of your MCs on tonight, along with my very dear friend, Dr. Stephen Jones. You have two Baptist preachers, one black and one white, one from Missouri and one from Kansas. And I think we make a great team tonight, and we want to again let you know that we're here tonight to celebrate and to ask that question, there is no place like home. And first we call upon tonight Jennifer Gwinner and Kiku Brooks tonight. They're going to come and help us get things started. Let us give applause as they come.
Amen. I'm Kiku Brooks. I am an executive board member of MORE2 representing Zion Grove Baptist Church. And right now, it is roll call time. Every time we get together for a public meeting, we do a roll call to see who is here from our member congregations and our member organizations.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jennifer Gwinner, and I'm also a board member of MORE2, and I represent Community Christian Church. So when we say the name of your congregation or organization, we're going to ask you to applaud, show some love for your community, and make some noise, and then stand and remain standing until we have everybody standing from our organizations and membership. Thank you.
AIR, Advocates for Immigration's Rights and Reconciliation.
Falls Unitarian Universalist.
Bethel AME.
Blue Valley Christian Church.
Colonial UCC Church.
Community Christian Church.
Congregation Kol Ami.
Country Club Christian Church.
Crossroads Church.
First Baptist Church of Kansas City.
Grand Avenue Temple.
Grandview Park Presbyterian.
Greater Mount Zion Baptist Church.
And then we have our individual members.
Kansas City United Church of Christ.
Linwood United Church.
Metropolitan Missionary Baptist Church.
Our Lady of Perpetual Help Redemptionist.
Overland Park Christian Church.
Peace Christian Church.
Pleasant Green Missionary Baptist Church.
Prairie Baptist Church.
St. Andrew's United Methodist Church.
St. James UMC.
St. Stephen's Baptist Church.
Second Baptist of Olathe.
Swope Parkway United Christian Church.
Trinity United Methodist Church.
One of our organizations, What You Can Do.
And Zion Grove Missionary Baptist Church.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Kiku. Let us give them a round of applause. There is no place like home.
That's right.
And you know, we've all heard that. And I don't know about you, but I'm born down in southwest Kansas, a little place called Liberal, Kansas, my hometown. And every time I travel somewhere, somebody asks you where you're from, and you tell them, whether you say Kansas City, Olathe, Liberal, first thing they want to know is, where's Dorothy? And I'm sure that you know how that goes, Reverend Jones.
Yes, and traveling around the country, those of us who live in Kansas City, wherever we are, face the assumption that we all live in Kansas, including this city. It doesn't occur to others that Missouri isn't in Kansas. We live in one of those few cities that is divided up and down by the metropolis by a 4-lane street. People don't understand our geography, and where we live matters. And we call this meeting No Place Like Home because of the particular issues that will be involved in tonight's work together. And here they are. Tonight, you will hear about unsavory housing issues and rental properties in Kansas City, Missouri. You'll learn what happens when a person returns home from incarceration in Kansas for a crime they did not commit. You'll learn more about how to engage in the work of transforming our neighborhoods, communities, and cities.
You know, what if we went about our work in such a way that, Steve, that every single day that members in our communities, members in your communities where you live, could really say there's no place like home. And not only say it, but really mean it. And that's what we here at MORE2, we envision.
Yes.
And that's what we're working for, that every resident has the ample opportunity to reach his or her full potential. And let's hear from the folks who have been working on housing issues here in Kansas City, Missouri here. Let's give it up for them. As they come, they're going to share with us on tonight.
Hello. I'm Haiti Clower and a senior at Hyman Brand Hebrew Academy in Overland Park. Tonight, we are here to talk about the Healthy Home City Ordinance that we have been working on, along with MORE2 and my peers from around Kansas City.
Hi. I'm Diane Charity. And I'm proud to say I'm one of the 5 petitioners on the Healthy Homes ballot. A few months back, we started working on this ballot initiative when it seemed the issue wasn't going to easily pass at City Hall. In Kansas City, there is no system in place for rental housing tenants to report their housing issues. It's estimated that over 200,000 people live in Kansas City. They're living in rental housing in some 65,000 units. I live in rental housing, and I'm proud of it, okay? I don't want to own a home. Whoever does, that's wonderful, but I don't want to fix the plumbing. I don't want to fix the roof or mow the lawn, okay? Never have, never will. So I prefer, it's my choice, to live in rental property. But I know that many of my friends and neighbors have horrific stories about their renting substandard housing and not being able to get landlords to make repairs. So we're working on a process whereby tenants and others could call City Hall to request an inspection when basic standards of habitability are not met, with the goal in mind of getting their landlord to meet the needed repairs without hiking their rent up $100 or $200. Similar ordinances in Independence and Kansas City, Kansas have been good for residents and not too burdensome for property owners. It has brought up the housing stock overall and has meant things like infestation, mold, holes in exterior walls, etc., are repaired for the welfare of the tenants in their communities. We have nothing like that in Kansas City. We're going to need your help getting this passed so all of us who rent in Kansas City can honestly say, and say it with me, there's no place like home. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Wallace Hartsfield. I'm a member of MORE2. Let me say to you that we as people of faith cannot in any way, form, or fashion tolerate persons having to live in substandard conditions. Where I pastor, there's almost not a week that goes by that in some kind of way there's not a concern brought to the church in one way or another about persons having to live in these kinds of conditions. As a person of faith and as a clergy person, it amazes me that when I read through the biblical witness that one finds that being landed is central to the biblical witness. Being landed is about finding space where one can live in a very basic way, where one has the adequate space to function. It almost seems like in the Bible, whether one is talking about the promised land or whether one is speaking about the kingdom of God, the domain of God, that people are looking for space. Space where they can be who they've been created to be. There is no way that as people of faith that we can stand for some of the things that are going on. It goes against the very grain of who we are. Space is salvific, that is, it's saving. But when persons, when landlords who are absent and irresponsible, when landlords allow themselves to become slumlords, when landlords engage in unlawful practices of trying to evict persons because they bring forth complaints, when landlords seek to make use of the very laws that we have to find loopholes, to escape doing what they are supposed to do at a responsible level, it threatens the very well-being of space. I invite you to help us to really replenish and to go back to what home is all about. It's adequate space. It's sanctified space. Let us bring forth healthy homes. God bless.
Good evening. My name is Tatiana Gravely Moss. I've been working with some of my colleagues from the Kansas and Missouri side to get Kansas City voters to sign our Healthy Homes Ballot Initiative petition. If you have not signed this and you live in the Kansas City, Missouri area, make sure you sign before you leave. We hope to turn in our signatures in the coming days and to have this on the ballot for voters to approve this coming August.
Tatiana, our friends, and I are looking for endorsements. We heard there are a few elected officials here tonight who live in Kansas City. We want to put them on the spot and see if they too will vote yes for and endorse our Healthy Homes Ordinance. If you are an elected official ready to support our ballot initiative, please stand up.
Hello, Councilman Wagner.
Hello.
How are you today?
Well, I was not too good earlier today, but I'm much better now that I'm here with you tonight.
That's great to hear. And now the question we've all been wanting to hear, will you help us with this initiative for Healthy Homes?
Since I couldn't get this through the council, yes, absolutely, unequivocally, to the end. Thank you.
And we'd like to also thank you for your service in getting this initiated. In the building, we also have Representative Judy Morgan. Now, Representative Morgan, I'll ask you the same question that I asked Councilman Wagner. Are you willing to help us with our initiative to Healthy Homes tonight?
I certainly am, and I wish you the best of luck.
All right.
Thank you so much. Can we give another round of applause for our representative officials?
Thank you so much, each of you. On behalf of the renters in Kansas City, for signing our petition and for your yes vote in August on the Healthy Homes Ordinance. I say thank you, and thank you for coming this evening, and I'll turn it over to Reverend Hartsfield.
We need your help in just a few ways. We have already been able to secure some area congregations that are going to be open over the next few weeks for collecting signatures. If we have any lead clergy persons that are present here on tonight and you would like to join with us and participate in this effort, we invite you to stand at this time. Are there any clergy persons that would like to join with us in this event? Amen. Amen. Brother Brooks and Rabbi Alpert and Brother Williams, is there anyone else? God bless you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Love and Brother Jones here, both. Amen. For those of you that would like to help us circulate these petitions around, that is, you're willing to make a commitment to be at one of these locations to help to circulate the petition, we're going to ask if you will stand at this time. The date we're talking about, the next 2 weeks, which could be depending on whether we're speaking about a synagogue or whether we're speaking about a church, it would more than likely be a Friday or a Sunday. Okay, all right, all right. Is there anyone else? What I need you to do is that if you will look in the program that you received, there is a My More Squared commitment card. What we need you to do is that if you will fill that out and if you will turn that in before the night is out, we would appreciate it. Finally, let us just say to you once again, we need you when it comes time in August for the ballot. We need you to go and to help us make this a reality at the voting ballot. Amen.
Well, I plan on voting yes on the Healthy Homes Ordinance and urge my congregation and neighbors to do the same. We've already had petitions at First Baptist. I think a lot of you have, and we will continue working on that.
All righty. Let's now turn our sights to the west, to that great state of Kansas. So let's hear it for More Squared, Kansas, if you're in the house. Now, on the Kansas side, we're emerging on two important issues that we've been dealing with More Squared on the Kansas side. We've been working very, very hard to widen our focus and reach in Kansas in the last recent years that we've been doing that. And one thing that we're very excited about is that with all of those efforts, we've been able to hire a full-time organizer.
Yes.
And that person is in the name of Marcus Wynn. So tonight, we invite one of our other colleagues up from the Kansas side, the Reverend Aaron Roberts. He's going to come at this particular time and talk about one of the particular issues that we've been working with in Kansas, and we certainly want you to pay close attention. This should touch your heart. So come on, Reverend Roberts.
Thank you, Reverend Love. When I think of the saying, there is no place like home, I can't help but think of the Lamont McIntyre story. And I would be honored to invite him to come up. We started hearing about Lamont's wrongful incarceration this past spring. He was incarcerated in a Kansas prison for over 23 years for a crime that he had nothing to do with. Can you even imagine that? And so we started meeting with Lamont's lawyer and learning about all of the systemic injustices around his case that they would work on. And Laura, she engaged in some of detective work on her own, too. I'll even say, I'll use her word, she used some Scooby-Doo detective work over the summer. And in October, some of the members of Moore Square, Kansas, were in the courtroom when Lamont's decades-old nightmare finally came to an end, and he got to return home.
All right.
Yeah, it's nice to be here, and I appreciate everybody's applause and love and concern and prayers. You know, there's no place like home. I like the theme for the night because I feel that. You know, that's something that's dear to me. That's something that I live with every day, and I'm grateful to be home. I'm here on the behalf of all those people who have been wrongfully convicted and most likely will be wrongfully convicted. He's going to speak to you about why we're here and everything, but I'm just here to be a representative of everybody who been in that situation. It's a long road for me to rebuild my life, but I'm good. I got a great support system. You know, I got a strong relationship with God, and I know everything's going to be all right for me. So I'm just here on the behalf of everybody else that's coming behind me, and I want to keep this thing going as much as I can. And I appreciate the support and love from the community I'm a part of. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Now, here's the thing. One of the things, Lamont, you and I are about the same age, and as you were going through all this, I couldn't help be thinking about that. And I want to be honest with you, as much and as glad as I am about your release, I can't help but think about what I would have been like if I had been in your shoes. During the last 23 years, while Lamont was doing time for a crime that he did not commit, in those years, I was able to go to school, fall in love, have kids. And my soul hurts because there is no way to replace what it was taken from you. Now in Kansas, we are one of only 18 states that has no benefits for people who have been exonerated for a crime they did not commit. Decades of injustice, years lost, and no benefits whatsoever. Lamont gets nothing from the state that incarcerated him wrongly. This is wrong, plain and simple. And so we have been meeting with legislators from Kansas to ensure a change. Now, while it won't help Lamont, we want to name this new law in honor of him. We are referring to this bill as Lamont's Law. So we've been talking to legislators about sponsoring this bill. And I am happy to say that tonight we have a bill that is currently in the legislature moving through.
All right.
Now, here's the thing. If you are a Kansas resident, we need your help tonight, because here's the thing. I know this law. We are going to get behind this. We are going to get some press on this. But here is the thing we need from you. If you are a Kansas resident and you are here tonight, we need you to do more than just be here. We need you to stand up right now, put your hand up, and get a card that we are going to hand deliver to the legislators to say this needs to happen. We need your help because this law needs to go through. This needs to happen. And so if you are a Kansas resident or here tonight, if you would please stand and stick your hand up and get one of those cards. Thank you.
All right.
We've got somebody hopefully coming around here in a second with those cards, so stay standing. But here is the thing. This needs to happen. We need God's power and blessing behind this. We need the support of Moore Squared to make this happen. So, friends, I just want to thank God for Lamont for your release. May God bless you on the journey ahead, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're going to get that. Just stay for a minute.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, we are one organization on both sides of the state line, and we're going to switch our attention back to the Missouri side. Have you heard the other thing that has happened in terms of rental housing in Kansas City?
Well, I believe I have. Just to say the least, we've been hearing quite a bit of it tonight. I think I've got really excited about the heartfelt stories that's been told on tonight, and hear that there's a lot going on. But one of the things that we have looked at on both sides is ban the box.
That's right.
And I don't know about you, but I just get excited about giving people that second chance that they need here in City Hall. We've done it on the Kansas side. The last public meeting we had, we had done it. But right here, the state of Missouri right now, what I heard was on February the 1st, MORE Squared realized the most recent victory when they banned the box that passed at City Hall. Let's give it up. Now, one of the things that ban the box does is that it removes the criminal history question from employment applications.
That's true, but last week's victory includes removing those questions from rental housing applications.
All right.
In the city. We have heard over and over that having a felony conviction seriously limits your employment and your housing opportunities. For those who've already paid their debt to society, they stand in need of a second chance. Now that door is opening prior to background checks for people to secure housing.
All right. Now, we heard in Kansas City that it is the only second city in the state to remove the criminal history question off of the employment applications. It passed a few years ago in Columbia, Missouri. But did you know that Kansas City is the second major city in the nation to remove criminal history questions off of the rental housing applications? Did you know that? Now, right now, what we want to do is that we want to invite a champion, a fighter, one that stands up for this issue at City Hall in the person who is right here with us, Councilman Jermaine Reed.
Well, hello, everyone. It is good to be here with you. Today has been quite an uneventful day at City Hall, as you might have heard. But it's good to be able to come over and be able to celebrate a victory that certainly is one that means a lot to the people in our community, those who have just maybe sometimes a minor conviction on their record and sometimes feel as if when going to fill out an application that they are stigmatized because of that, and that they won't necessarily get an opportunity to even get an interview and state their case and be able to even apply and say, hey, look, I'm going to be able to make a decent living and be able to give to my community. And so I can tell you, for me, when MORE Squared calls, I always answer. And so when a couple of months ago, I believe, standing right here in the church, I said, yes, I will stand and help take this issue to City Hall. And that's what we did. We took it to City Hall, and because of so many others on the council, like Mayor James, like Scott Wagner, like Quentin Lucas, like Catherine Shields, like Alicia Kennedy, like Lee Barnes, and a few others who stood with us and said that they were going to help ban the box from applications and do it citywide. And it's not just on applications at City Hall anymore, like it was in 2013, but citywide. This is something that will be in effect in June. So. But you know, on a whole different note, let me say as well, because I'm probably on an emotional high and I feel like someone has to pinch me, because also the City Council just today, and this is off script, Laura, so don't kill me, but just today voted to move forward with building a new single terminal airport at Kansas City International Airport with an vote to 8-5. And so we certainly will be moving forward, but the work starts anew tomorrow. We have to move forward in terms of making sure that we still get the best bang for our buck for the flying public here in Kansas City. And come 2021, November that is, and hopefully they do it a little bit sooner, but if they were here, they would probably cringe and say, we don't know about that. But come 2021, we'll be able to hopefully have the brand new airport built. And so I'm looking forward to all the great work and continuing community conversations about important issues. And just as much as people have been excited about the airport issues, they've got to be excited about unemployment in our city. They've got to be excited about housing in our city. They got to be excited about eviction in our city. They got to be excited about those who are considered the least of in our city. There's a lot of real pressing issues in all neighborhoods throughout this entire city, and we're going to continue to do that, and I can tell you that I stand committed to do that. So thank you all for having me here with you tonight.
Councilman Jermaine Reed.
Well, it's really exciting that Man the Box is not just for those who want a job with the city of Kansas City, but any job that someone wants in Kansas City, that will be taken off the employment applications, and it's a wonderful work, a victory of justice. But as we've been going back and forth, there are important victories on both sides of the state line. There is no place like home. How exciting it will be when everyone can say that in our metropolitan area and truly mean it. What other issue can we expect from Kansas, Reverend Love?
Well, I tell you what, I feel like we're kind of playing tennis. You know?
That's right, back and forth.
So yeah, I got one for you there. One of the big initiatives that we have in Kansas is going to be the integrated voter engagement project, and we're going to center that around Wyandotte County. So we will be mobilizing voters not only to the ballot box, but also leadership roles within our organization. We're excited about this. We're going to have a major impact, not just for MORE Squared, but a project that's going to transform Kansas City and my area over in Johnson County just as well.
Wonderful. Another important change is that the Metro chairpersons for MORE Squared in this 2018 will once again represent a leader from Kansas, Reverend Rick Behrens, who is joining Reverend Michael Brooks from Missouri. Let's give it up for these.
All right. Where you at, Rick? Would you stand? All right.
Right here.
Reverend Brooks. This is strong leadership, and strong leadership, now, just want to put a pin here because we know what leadership don't look like, but, but at any rate, this is what good leadership looks like. So now I want to invite, if you will, allow me this privilege to invite another strong person on the Kansas side that's leading. I want to invite up my co-chair for our work in Kansas, the Reverend Laura Phillips, if she'll come at this time.
Good evening. You may have heard something recently, something called the Super Bowl. Anyone ever heard of that? Like many of us around this part of the country, we may not have cared who was playing this past time, or we may not care about sports at all, but for many it's a common pastime to at least watch the commercials. Now, I don't know about you, but a few of the commercials frustrated me this year. Like, they didn't have any pregnant clergy women. I mean, that one truck commercial had lots of clergy, but no pregnant ones. But the one that really bothered me the most was the one that co-opted the use of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s drum major speech. It was used to sell a servant spirit and a particular line of trucks that claims to have that same spirit of servanthood. As the Olympics begin and as the award shows happen, we're likely to see this same kind of co-opting of stories as anyone tries to sell their products. Well, I'm here to tell you that MORE2 does not have to co-opt someone else's story or someone else's experience in order to garner your support. We have the story of servanthood and justice seeking right here in this place that so many of us call home. We have a powerful story of equity work that you can feel confident in supporting because you have seen the ways that we are making our shared home a better place. We have a story, no matter our faith traditions, that includes standing with and for our brothers and sisters of all walks of life to make sure that justice and equity are within reach for all of us. We don't need to co-opt someone else's story or someone else's speech in order to garner your support. We have the stories that we have shared with you tonight that show the character of our accomplishments, the level of our commitment, and the quality of our work. We have the stories of our faith backgrounds, even though they be different, that bind us together in this sacred work for the holy places that we call home. So I'm not here tonight to sell you a truck. Instead, I'm asking for your support of the important work and the accomplishments of MORE2. I'm asking for your support so that we as members of MORE2 together can move forward with stories of justice and equity within this place that we call home. I'm inviting you to show your support for MORE2 in big and small ways. If this is the first time you've ever heard about the work of MORE2, then you can show us your support just by giving us your name and your email address on this card. You can help us grow the organization and the power of organized people when you help us share our story through email and social media. If you're curious about how else you can get involved, if you see an issue at the bottom of this card, you can circle that, and someone will be in touch with you to work together for these stories. Now, I'm not asking you to buy a $40,000 truck with a story that's not mine. Instead, I am confident that we could raise that amount of money if we all contributed financially to this sacred justice work, because we are all part of this story of MORE2. So I'm inviting you to contribute financially to MORE2 to support this sacred justice work. I'm inviting you to envision just how much larger our story could be if we had the opportunity to employ yet another organizer to guide us and walk alongside us when we work for justice for people like Lamont McIntyre. I'm inviting you to be a part of the story of MORE2 so that more individuals can work and live where they choose, regardless of a box on an application. We don't need to co-opt someone else's story or someone else's speech in order to sell our product and garner your support. We have these stories that we have shared with you tonight that show the character of our accomplishments, the level of our commitment, and the quality of our work. Won't you commit yourself to that story tonight by placing both of these completed cards into the bucket? Thank you.
Here's my worship, take joy in it, make it your dwelling place. I want to put a smile on your face, I present my heart to you. I present my life to you.
worship, take joy in it. I want to make now my dwelling place. On your face I present my life to you. I present my life to you. It's my worship. Take joy in it. Make it your dwelling place. I want to put a smile on your face. I present my heart to you. I present my life to you.
We certainly want to thank Laura Phillips for leading us in that time of giving. And let me say, let's give it up for this choir.
Yes.
Now I got a little secret that I want to tell you. Now, Brother Odell, you done started something here. Now, this is what they call the pop-up choir. So meaning that they did not have a month-long rehearsal. They put this together, and I tell you, you all are doing a fabulous job. So again, thank you, Laura Phillips, for leading us in that, and look forward to what we can accomplish together as co-chairs. She's one of the co-chairs over on the Kansas side, and look forward to working with her this upcoming year. And thanks to all of you that took the time to give of your gifts tonight. We cannot do this work without your generosity. Not only generosity in your gifts, but also of your time as well as your talent. So we thank you.
And Reverend Love, there's another way to give tonight, and that's by buying an Intisaki t-shirt. Cora, would you mind standing up? We got the most beautiful model in the room. Would you turn around? There it is right there. These t-shirts say, "Empowered Women Empower Women." And you can buy, thank you. You can buy one of these t-shirts with cash or a credit card, and every t-shirt that's sold supports women's leadership training in MORE Squared. And that's wonderful. Thank you. Are there some other people that have a shirt on? We have some other, there's one. Thank you. Thank you. All right. You can be one of those privileged select group.
All righty. Sometimes in maintaining our homes, as we've been discussing tonight, you got to mow the yard, you got to do this, you got to do that. But one of the bigger things that you always have to do is that you got to clean house. So, and I hear that there's something big going on the Missouri side.
That's right, Reverend Love, there is. We've got a couple of important leaders who are going to come and talk to us about Clean Missouri and Raise the Wage, Rabbi Alpert and Reverend Williams.
All right.
I am Rabbi Doug Alpert with Congregation Kol Ami, the Urban Progressive Synagogue, and also I co-chair the Criminal Justice Task Force for MORE Squared with Kiku Brooks. if nothing else, in all we do in MORE Squared, our efforts are to fight institutional racism and economic injustice. So it's with that in mind that I want to talk about a certain institution tonight, that institution being our Missouri legislature. So back in 2008, the legislature passed a law that removed campaign contribution limits, and we've all seen the result in all those commercials in every election. You know, the commercials, and they give themselves those cute little titles at the bottom. Title ought to be, you know, we are putting our legislature in the pockets of big corporations and the 1%, because that's what they're doing. So when that happens, it suppresses our voices. We lose our story. Our votes matter less. And then we have little impact on who gets elected and the decisions they make, and that they're making their decisions for the right reason and for us. And it's for that reason that we at MORE Squared have joined hands with organizations from all over the state to initiate the Clean Missouri campaign. So what will Clean Missouri do for us? It's going to limit campaign contributions. It's going to restrict those lobbying gifts up in Jefferson City and keep our legislatures from rolling right into lobbying jobs. And maybe most important, it's going to prevent gerrymandering. And with that, because the way it works now, that's right. The way these districts are drawn up now, our legislatures are really accountable to absolutely nobody. There is no threat to them getting out of office. So here's what I want you to do for me tonight, and for us, and for MORE Squared, and for yourselves. We're going to have tables set up outside. If you are a Missouri registered voter, you need to sign our petition to get the ballot initiative up and running. If you live in Jackson County, you go out on this side and sign the petition. If you live in Platte County, head out to the other side of the foyer and sign the petition. If you are in another county in Missouri other than Jackson or Platte, go to either one of the tables and we will get you taken care of. But please, please, please get those petitions signed. It's very, very important. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce a leader in our city and our state and beyond in the fight for racial justice and economic equity, the Reverend Dr. Rodney Williams.
Thank you, Rabbi Alpert. We have been collecting clean signatures at the church in which I pastor, the Swope Parkway United Christian Church. And it is my sincere desire and hope that every single Missouri congregation in this room will join in with Rabbi Alpert's congregation and mine in collecting these signatures. Because clean is a game changer. For all of the important work that we do in Missouri, it is a game changer. But I would be remiss if I did not use this allotted time to endorse something called Raise the Wage. Raise the Wage will raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour in Missouri. We have been working hard for the past several months along with a coalition of organizations from around the state to get these petitions signed and to get them on the Missouri ballot. If passed, the minimum wage will increase to $12 an hour. As most of you know, we have attempted to raise the minimum wage in Kansas City, Missouri. In fact, I was one of the first original petitioners of the initiative. Unfortunately, our legislators made it so that our city could not raise the minimum wage. The only way to bypass them is to collect tens of thousands of signatures to get this on the ballot so that people in Missouri can vote on the issue. We need you. We must have you in this fight. We need people not just to sign the raise the wage tonight. We need you to get these petitions into your congregations and to make sure that people sign them. This initiative was started a little bit after the clean. So if you have done the clean at your congregation but not raised the wage, make sure you talk to some of our people, as Rabbi Alpert has stated, as you leave this evening. We need to make sure that this gets on the petition, that the petition gets on the ballot, because we need signatures. We need every signature that we can possibly get. We need all hands on deck. We need all hands on deck for clean. We need all hands on deck for the minimum wage. We need you to fight for you and for those that are coming behind you. We need you to put this on the ballot. Thank you so much.
That's right, Reverend Williams. To say there is no place like home, we must pass laws that clean up compromised political practices in our state capital, pass laws for the common good. And the common good erodes every time reasonable campaign contribution limits are exceeded, or gerrymandering of legislative districts occurs, or lobbying gifts exceed reasonable limits. And in Missouri, our hope is to raise the minimum wage so that any full-time worker can afford to maintain a basic lifestyle. And there's one more point tonight, Reverend Love.
Now, what might that be?
Well, it's already been mentioned by Councilman Reed, but it's this matter of a new international airport for Kansas City. It's looking more and more like one will be built. And while the airport's on the Missouri side, its impact is on both sides of the state line.
That's right. Let's hear more from that from our Reverend Kyle and Reverend Brooks at this time. Let's give them a hand as they come.
Well, good evening, everyone. Let me say how proud I am to be the leader of MORE Squared, because we're doing a lot of great work here in Kansas City, and what organization is doing more than we are, I'm not sure. But give yourselves a big hand for all the work that we've been able to accomplish. I'm proud also of the previous creation of the Jericho table that brought together powerful entities from labor and the private sector, the public sector, and faith groups around the table to break down walls of separation when it comes to dealing with inequities in construction jobs, beginning with the downtown boom, the Power and Light District, and Sprint Center. If you're here and you were part of the Jericho table in the past, please stand so we can recognize you. If you were part of our previous Jericho table, stand. All right.
Yes, Pastor Brooks, as a result of that Jericho table, I'm proud to know that the construction workforce ordinance passed more than 10 years ago guarantees a percentage of all city construction jobs. They will go to minorities and to women. So far, through the ordinance, people of color and women have gained tens of thousands of jobs and work hours in our city, and positioned us. And on the basis of that ordinance, it positioned us to move to other work to even make it even better in the future.
I'm also proud of the community benefits agreement we championed with the Kit Bond Bridge project. We work with MODOT, the Full Employment Council, to secure funding for training and diversity in the workforce projects. This community benefits agreement served as a precedent for the passage of last year's resolution championed by Council members Alyssa Kennedy, Scott Wagner, and calling for similar community benefits agreements to negotiate construction progress here in Kansas City. The airport project is a test of that resolution.
Now, we didn't take an official position as an organization with regard to whether or not to build a new terminal. We just presumed something was going to happen because we knew jobs were going to be on the line. The jobs are going to be created in the metro area. MORE Squared wants to be there to help be sure of racial and economic equity. Now we have our eyes on how that new ordinance and new community benefit agreement that was just moved forward today will guarantee construction jobs at the new airport and more permanent jobs at the airport going on to the future beyond construction. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Workforce Task Force of MORE Squared, and along with my co-chair, Tyrone Sims, we're working diligently with our people to monitor and evaluate every aspect of this project. It could be a major boom for the workforce development in our cities, not just in terms of minority and women participation, but in opening up more jobs for local workers on Kansas City jobs. They didn't give it to us, but we've given ourselves a seat at the table. a seat to make sure that people of Kansas City, especially including people of color and women, are given a good chunk of employment here in Kansas City.
So as chair of the board, as you heard tonight, we have a number of accomplishments that we can be proud of, but there's still much work to do. There's still tongues of minorities and women in this community that still don't get their fair shake. Our $900 billion project is going to happen in the airport. We really need more than just 20% of the jobs to go to people like us. We really need a piece of the pie. And if we don't stand up and say something, if Moore Squared doesn't take its stand, if we don't take our seat at the table, it'll be business as usual, and we're here to make sure that it's not business as usual.
We mean to let them know, we mean to let the city know, Edgemore or whoever does this thing, we need to let them know we're watching, and we're going to hold them accountable to the promises and positions they've made. If you're going to help us watch, stand up and clap.
Yes, sir.
So we're making a whole lot of noise tonight. In our tradition, in the Bible, there's a story of the city of Jericho, where Joshua was going in to take the city, but there were walls, and the walls were put up, and the Bible says that nobody could get in and nobody could get out. The direction God gave to the people was, I want you to march around the wall 7 times, and on the 7th day, I want you to march around it 7 times, and then when you hear a certain sound, I want everyone to just shout. Well, y'all, we got some stuff to shout about tonight.
Yes, sir.
Because we've been marching around walls.
Yeah.
And they've been coming down. They've been coming down slowly, but they've been coming down surely.
Yeah.
And we want you all to make sure that you stay a part of the fight. And when you hear us making some noise, come on and join us in the shout, and let's celebrate what God is doing.
I don't know if everyone realizes, but this whole debate over the airport has been this community benefit agreement, and that wouldn't have happened if Moore Squared had not framed the issue.
That's right.
So we have a lot to be proud of in terms of what happened today and hopefully what we anticipate as we watch in the future.
Thank you, Reverend Brooks. Thank you, Reverend Kyle. And like they said, there's a lot of victories tonight that we can be excited about. Moore Squared is a force to be reckoned with, and we need to get used to it. We're here to stay. And tonight, with what we've shared, what we've witnessed tonight, the victories that we've celebrated, we've only scratched the surface. And the easiest way that we can keep the ball rolling is to get you involved. Now, on the Kansas side, you can get involved by coming to our Kansas Issues Night. That's every 3rd Monday. Every 3rd Monday of the month, 6:30 to 8 o'clock. We meet at the Grand View Park Presbyterian Church. It's Reverend Rick Barron's congregation over in Kansas City, Kansas. And we need you, if you're on the Kansas side, to come over and let's be a part of it. There's a lot of work that yet needs to be done. There's a lot of walls that we need to march around to bring them down. Let's get it done.
And the best way to get involved in Missouri is to attend the next Missouri Issues Night. It's on the 1st Monday of each month, and it is on March the 5th. Actually, your little sheet here is off by 1 day. It's March the 5th. It's on the 1st Monday of every month at 6 o'clock at Trinity United Methodist Church on Armour Boulevard.
You know, Reverend Jones, at Second Baptist, we've been doing a study of the Old Testament prophets, and we're in a study called the Minor Prophets. And there's a quote that I want to share with you tonight that the prophet Amos, and we've heard this quote for a long time. It's one that Dr. King has utilized. It's one that should resonate to the day in which we live in, even right now. Amos reminds us that we ought to let justice roll down like rivers of waters, righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. And that should resonate in our hearts when we see what is going on in all of our communities.
And earlier in that same 5th chapter, Amos tells us to hate evil and love good and in so doing establish justice in the gates of the city.
But you know, those are just words, and we're people of faith. And if we're going to be people of faith, we've got to love God, but we also got to put some feet to what we say that we believe in. It's okay to talk a good game. It's okay to, talk is cheap.
Yeah.
But let's put our faith into action. And all is not well in our communities. All is not well in the metro. All is not well,
That's
as Star Wars said, right?
But as persons of faith coming together, we can raise our united voices and speak on behalf of our vision of economic and racial justice and equality for everyone who calls this Kansas City metropolitan area our home.
So if we're going to make this no place like home, we want to thank each and every one of you who came out tonight. We thank you for getting involved. We thank you for writing your check. We thank you for giving your plastic. We thank you for being here on tonight. Those who made your presentations tonight, we thank you very much for being here on tonight. And for those of you who are leaders in this great organization of ours, we thank you for your service and the commitments that you have for the higher good for everyone.
Now, we realize the risk that you took tonight in putting two Baptist pastors up here in front leading this thing through. I will just call your attention to the fact that when Methodists or Presbyterians or Jewish leaders next year do this, we're letting you out 20 minutes early.
That's right. Yes! That's how you do it Gamaliel style. So we just set the bar up high.
That's right, set it high. So what we want you to do is purchase some T-shirts after the close, sign petitions, get training so you can take petitions to your workplace or to your congregations wherever. We want to thank the MORE2 Choir. They're going to lead us one final time. And I also want to invite those of you who are here because you share our values, but you're not a part of a MORE2 member congregation. If you'd like to become a part of the individual members, I'm going to have you go out this door over here on the right. Ed Kyle will meet you. He's the head of that group. He'd like to meet with you if you're here as an individual rather than representing a congregation. Let's give it up again for our pop-up choir.
jail cell. Turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no jail cell. Turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking, walking up the freedom line. I'm gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. I'm gonna let nobody turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking, walking up the freedom
Thank you. Thank you, choir. Just one thought to send us on our way, and that is that we can't let anyone turn us around, and we can't let anybody turn us back. And we know that there's a lot of hatred in our society. We've seen it, and we thought it couldn't possibly exist again in 2018, and it's here. And we can't let anything turn us back. Let us go forth with that prayer in our hearts and in our minds and in our actions. Go in peace.